you're enjoying these videos, subscribe. Let YouTube know that I'm doing a good job by subscribing to the channel. Plus, you'll get notified when I have new videos coming out. And finally, if you're enjoying what I'm doing, give it a like. Just click on that thumbs up, and that way YouTube knows that you like it, and they'll pass it along to other people that might enjoy my content as well. I really appreciate it. Thank you again. Let's get started.
Good afternoon, everyone. I would like to greet the UST Picard family on its 10th year anniversary celebration, especially to Dr. Rinaldo B. Bora, the Executive Director of UST Picard. Good afternoon once again to everyone. I want to thank Dr. Iborra for the invitation and for the opportunity to join this productive and insightful webinar on sugarcane production technologies dubbed Savoring the Sweetness of Sugarcane. Thank you to our energetic sugarcane producers, extension workers, researchers, and members of the academy present here today for taking time out of your busy schedules. This afternoon is an excellent opportunity for all of us to be appraised on the Philippine sugarcane industry, particularly on the latest innovative technology outputs of research and development projects. It is my pleasure to join you all today in celebrating the 10th anniversary of UST Picard. This webinar is timely because it takes place during a period of great uncertainty brought about by the effects of the COVID-19 pandemic on the economy. However, we all know that science and technology and smart agriculture have shown great promise in promoting economic development. Thus, this is a crucial time for the leaders of the sugarcane industry, academia, government, and business sector to come together to turn the challenges we are facing today into opportunities, challenges from productivity and efficiency. So I'm glad that this webinar gives hope and offers a forum for innovative technologies which could help our stakeholders in sugarcane production. In the crop year 2020-2021, the Philippine sugarcane industry contributed an estimated 105.8 billion to the GDP. The amount came from the income from sales of sugarcane products, plus exports, plus income from tolling fee of raw to refined sugar. Additionally, taxes from locally produced sugar and depreciation. In fact, in 2020, the sugarcane industry was one of the top performers in agriculture crop subsector, when it posted positive gains during the COVID-19 pandemic. It showed resiliency and was considered one of the economy's bright spots during the most challenging time. The sugarcane industry thus earned the distinction of being one of the pillars of the economic recovery efforts where the COVID-19 pandemic crippled other sectors of the economy. Amid global uncertainties, it helps that we gather today to explore how we can further improve sugarcane productivity and efficiency through science and technology. This initiative will surely help the sugarcane industry and the country achieve economic growth, thus making us much more resilient to changing situations. We will continue to be vigilant so that the COVID-19 pandemic should not derail our efforts. We count on you to ensure the delivery of scientific innovation and the adoption of new technologies, fundamentals to support agricultural productivity and economic growth during a time of continued global volatility. How does SRA manage its research, development, and extension program? In recent years, the SRA has invested significant resources in the RD&E program. In coordination with the Department of Science and Technology, relevant state universities and government research and development institutions, and the private sector, the SRA intensifies its RD&E program. Relevant studies were undertaken on sugarcane high-yielding varieties, pest and disease-resistant varieties, drought and water-lagging resistant varieties, the most recent farming, milling, refining, and biomass cogeneration technologies, soil analysis and fertility mapping of sugarcane areas, weather monitoring and climate change adaptation measures, sugar and sweetener consumption, and other viable sugarcane products. For the extension program, SRA, in partnership with the Mill District Development Councils, provides extension services that include, but are not limited to, provision of technical assistance and advice, the conduct of tests, propagation, and dissemination of high-yielding varieties, and operation of demonstration farms. An example of innovation initiated by SRA to address the strategic and technological issues, the crop estimation system, which aims to generate rapid, realistic, and scientific-based crop estimates on the annual yield production. It is relevant since sugarcane production is highly dependent on the weather and climate change. We thank DOST Picard for organizing this webinar and our co-servants in the sugarcane industry. Madamo gid nga salamat. Let us move together, fulfill the opportunities to sustain our economic gains and scientific development, even this time of the pandemic. Again, a blessed day to all of you. Thank you for your support and commitment. Maraming salamat.
Marami pong salamat, Engineer Serafica, sa pagbati sa Picard's 10th anniversary na magaganap po sa November 29. Ang webinar na ito ay isa lamang sa mga series ng pre-anniversary activities ng Picard. Nalulugod po kaming malaman na ang sugarcane pala ay isa sa mga top-performing crop commodity ng agriculture sector na nagtala ng significant contribution sa GDP o Gross Domestic Product ng ating ekonomiya. Ito ay sa kabila ng mga challenges brought about by the current COVID-19 pandemic. Bago tayo magpatuloy, nais po lamang namin paalalahanan ang aming mga mahigit 200 na viewers sa Facebook Live na makakakuha po kayo ng Certificate of Participation. We will provide the link to the customer satisfaction feedback form that you need to accomplish by the end of the webinar. Antabayanan din po ang aming mga announcements at reminders sa Facebook Live ng DOST Picard. So stay tuned, tutok lang hanggang matapos ang webinar. Ang ating pong programa ngayon ay mayroong dalawang parte. The first part will tackle the sugarcane industry in the Philippines, while the second part will tackle the sugarcane production technologies. Magkakaroon tayo ng dalawang open forum. Ito ay pagkatapos ng part 1 at isa pagkatapos ng part 2. Kaya marami po kayong pagkakataon upang makapagtanong. We encourage our participants watching via Facebook Live to type in your questions in the comment box, and our technical team will gather these questions that will be answered by our experts during the open forum. Gayon din po yung mga nagpadala ng mga tanong sa registration form na aming pinadala. Ito po ay sisikapin naming masagot during the open forum, o kung hindi man namin makover lahat, ang amin pong mga experts na tagapagsalita ngayon ay mag-exert ng effort para ma-email po kayo at masagot ang inyong mga katanungan. Okay, upang simulan ang unang part ng ating webinar, let's all welcome Attorney Ignacio Santillana, Deputy Administrator for Research, Development, and Extension of DA-SRA, who will talk about the sugarcane industry situation and challenges in the country.
Good morning. I will be presenting the Philippine sugarcane industry status, the SRA programs in support thereof, as well as the challenges we are currently facing. The country's sugarcane plantation consists of 399,166 hectares, more than half of which is found in the island of Negros, 21% in the island of Mindanao, 11% in the island of Luzon, and the rest is spread over the islands of Panay and Eastern Visayas. As of now, we have around 88,000 sugarcane farmers, 84% of which are small farmers with land holdings of not more than 5 hectares each. Sugarcane is no longer sugar alone. With its 425 million liters bioethanol produced by the 13 distilleries and the 366 megawatts generated by the biopower plants using sugarcane and its byproducts as raw materials, it is now considered as an energy crop. The main product, sugar, is produced by the 27 sugar mills with a combined capacity of 200 tons cane per day, while our 12 refineries produces around 144,000 bags per day. Ang ating 17-year historical production data nagpapakita na ating area planted sugarcane as well as our farm productivity ay nagbabago every year. Last crop year, we have averaged 63.32 tons cane per hectare and 100.3750 kilobag sugar per hectare. Ang pinakamataas na production na nakuha natin ay noong crop year 2016-2017 na nakapag-produce tayo ng 28 million gross tons cane and 2.5 million metric tons sugar. Land conversion at ang crop shifting ay ang mga major reasons for the variations in the area planted to sugarcane. Ito namang presyo ng asukal natin, nagpapakita dito sa 11-year historical data natin ng average price of sugar and molasses na attain natin ang pinakamataas noong crop year 2010-2011 na may 1,864 per bag of raw sugar at may 11,464 per metric tons of molasses. Last year, we have averaged 1,546 pesos per bag of sugar and 9,315 pesos per metric ton of molasses. Our 27 sugar mills have a combined rated capacity of 200,000 tons cane per day. However, due to the lack of cane supply, the national average capacity utilization is only about 55%. In addition to the regular programs of SRA, we are also implementing the Sugar Industry Development Act or the Republic Act 10659, the main objective of which is to make the Philippine sugar industry globally competitive. Isa sa mga project component dito ay ang scholarship program na ang layunin ay ma-improve at ma-preserve ang human resource base ng industriya natin by encouraging studies and trainings sa mga industry-related courses. Sa ngayon, we have 4,923 scholars. 4,212 nito ay nakatapos na, most of which from TESDA short courses. At meron pa tayong 711 ongoing scholars for other academic disciplines. Ang isa pang programa ng SIDA ay ang Research, Development, and Extension, under which na-establish natin ang 56 HYV nurseries with a total area of 370 hectares at may mga mechanized whole stock cane cutters and loaders na sa ngayon ay dinideliver sa mga MDDCs at mga black farms. May mga pesticides din tayo na ipamigay sa quick response program natin para makontrol ang mga pests and diseases. At ang isang importanteng nagawa natin dito ay ang pag-establish ng soils laboratories sa mga state universities and colleges as well as sa mga MDDCs na strategically situated sa mga sugarcane growing areas natin. Under SIDA, we have 32 researches undertaken by SRA alone, and with partnership also with external research partners like UPLB. Ang 14 nito, mga short-term researches, ay natapos na natin. The rest are ongoing. Sugarcane is a plantation crop, and the fragmentation of farms runs counter to the principles of economies of scale. To address this problem, we have implemented the block farming program under SIDA. It is composed of small farmers joining together to form one large farming business unit. Nakapag-organize tayo ng 213 block farms with a total area of 8,416 hectares at mayroon tayong 5,628 farmer beneficiaries. Nakapagbigay tayo ng 245 million worth of startup capital para masagot ang kakulangan dito sa panggastos, sa labor, planting materials, fertilizer, at iba pang mga inputs. Sa ngayon, meron din tayong naipamigay na 23.7 million worth of agri-lime para masolve natin itong soil acidity ng mga block farms natin. At may mga HYB nurseries din na na-establish sa mga block farms na may kabuuang area na 155 hectares. Ang mga block farms natin ay nagkaroon din ng mga farm machineries and implements, tractors, and cultivation equipments. 437 sets ito at may value na around 699 million. And meron din tayong socialized credit program for those farmers na hindi sila qualified sa block farming program. As well as nakapagbigay din tayo ng financial assistance sa mga farm equipment service centers natin. For our infrastructure program under SIDA, 221.33 kilometers na na-build natin na farm-to-mill roads. Ang layunin ay mapababa natin ang cost of hauling ng harvested sugarcane from the farms going to the mills. Pakinggan po natin ang isa sa mga partners natin sa implementation ng programs ng SIDA. Siya po ay si Mr. Noni Teles, Vice President ng Lopez Sugar Corporation and also Chairman ng Lopez Mill District Development Committee.
I am Noni Teles, the Chairman of Lopez Mill District Development Council. The programs that we implement at Lopez MDDC, which are supported by SRA, number one, dispersal of high-grade canes. Presently, we have about 40 hectares of nursery. And we have availed of the nursery grant from SRA of about 30 hectares. So this area, this nursery are planted with high-yielding varieties coming from SRA La Granja. So these high-yielding varieties is distributed to our planter members. Of course, not only together with the cane points, we have a guideline for our planters to avail it to maximize the output of these new high-yielding varieties. We availed of a 5 million SIDA grant to build a training center for our seminars. And this is now the two-story building, which we can utilize the first and second floor for all the seminars we have. Likewise, this building we have an annexed soils laboratory. And the operation of the soils lab is supervised by SRA. So this will really help our planters in determining the soil quality. Likewise, we have availed of the SIDA fund for tractors, farm tractors, and implements. And we are using this for our 40 hectares nursery. Okay, for the farm-to-mill roads, in fact, every year we're given a budget of, right now I can remember for the past 5 years, I think we have availed of about more than 10 kilometers already of farm-to-mill roads. These are the main arteries, roads connecting the farms in the remote areas to our highways, going to the mill of Lopez Sugar Center. Okay, previously, Lopez district planters, because of our topography, in which only about 25% is flat, and the 75% is mostly semi-rolling and rolling. Now, the average tons per hectare for Lopez planters 5 years ago, or 7 years ago, we were only getting about 55, average 55 tons per hectare. Now, lately, we're getting about 70 plus, 75, and there are now planters in our area that produces more than 100 tons per hectare because of the SIDA program.
Notwithstanding the programs we have implemented for the last 5 years, ang national productivity natin still stands below other sugar-producing countries. Although we have improved from the 56 tons cane per hectare in crop year 2019-2020 to 63.32 tons cane per hectare last year, yet we still have a long way to go para makapag-catch up tayo sa kanila. Ang mga challenges na hinaharap natin para ma-improve natin ang productivity ng ating mga farmers at maging efficient ang ating sugarcane industry ay dalawa. Ito ay in the aspect of farm productivity as well as in the milling efficiency. Most of our sugarcane soils conditions are no longer ideal for sugarcane growing. They have become acidic through the long and heavy usage of chemical fertilizers. Most of our farms are uneconomical in size and are situated in rolling and upland areas where the topsoils are heavily eroded. Add to that the lack of farm labor due to migration to other less manually laborious industries. High cost of inputs, especially now, is also a major problem. Adoption of new technologies and cultural practices is also low. And lastly, and very important, is climate change. The rise and fall in our productivity is largely influenced by this single biggest factor. For the last 6 years, we have experienced back-to-back episodes of La Nina and El Nino. On the milling side, our mills are suffering from lack of cane supply, with low-quality canes being delivered, as well as high incidence of mud, stones, and other trash are included in the cane deliveries, especially last year during the La Nina episode, and this caused damage to the milling hardware. Those are the issues we need to address if we are to move forward and attain our goal of becoming a sustainable and globally competitive sugarcane industry. Thank you po.
Maraming salamat, Attorney Santillana, for giving us an overview of the status of sugarcane industry in the Philippines and for giving us all the challenges that the industry are experiencing right now and how we can at least overcome these challenges. Gayun din po, maraming salamat kay Ginoong Israel Teles na nagbigay ng kanyang testimony tungkol sa mga services na pinahayag or inoffer or pinrovide ng Sugar Regulatory Administration. At this point, we will be asking Attorney Santillana some questions from our participants. Attorney Santillana, may tanong po dito tungkol sa kung saan or where can we coordinate if we want to make a business putting sugarcane as primary product ingredient. How is the process? This is from Bernadette Tuazon.
Good afternoon po, and thank you very much for that question. Una po sa lahat, ang pinaka-coordinating center namin for concerns about sugarcane industry ay ang Office of the Administrator sa Diliman, Quezon City, Sugar Regulatory Administration. Next po ay sa Office of the Deputy Administrator and the Research Development and Extension Office dito po sa Lagrangha Research Station. Makikita ninyo pong address sa aming website at kung kailangan ninyong details, pati contact numbers, ipadala namin sa inyo.
Maraming salamat.
Kindly provide your contacts also or your email para we can send it right away.
Okay, so narinig po natin, kindly provide your email and details para makipag-ugnayan kayo sa SRA. Ang susunod po nating katanungan ay galing kay Ariel Canonoy. What are the major trends and challenges that the sugar industry is facing? Given these challenges, what would be the future of the industry?
Thank you for that question, Ariel. As I have mentioned in my presentation, dalawa po, in the aspect of sugar and farm productivity and also in the milling efficiency. So, dalawa lang pero medyo mabigat ang mga challenges na yan, no? But given those challenges, ang industry po natin ay meron pa ring bright future, considering that, as I have also mentioned in my report, sugarcane is no longer sugar alone. Marami ng byproducts, bioethanol, biomass, or energy. We used to be threatened by fluctuations in the global prices. And the industry once suffered major setback because of the downfall of the sugar prices. But that is not true anymore because may fallback na tayo. In case na bumaba yung presyo ng asukal, may alternative na tayo na hindi tayo masyadong tatamaan. Meron na tayong ethanol, mahal ang ethanol ngayon at meron na din tayong biopower na kulang din ang supply ng raw materials. So we can go either way.
Okay, maraming salamat Attorney Santillana. Ang next na question natin ay galing kay Rona Vivo. What are the latest programs of the government to uplift the sugarcane farmers?
Rona, meron pa tayong pinaka-main program natin under the Sugar Industry Development Act ay ang Farm to Mill Roads program natin, Socialized Credit Program, Block Farming program natin, at ang Research Development and Extension. On top of that, meron tayong under the auspices of the Secretary of the Agriculture, meron tayong 4 priority programs, yung adopt the small sugarcane farming family, ang dispersal natin, massive dispersal ng high-yielding varieties natin, ang soil rejuvenation program natin, at ang irrigation program natin. Those are the 4 priority projects by the Secretary na ini-implement ngayon ng SRA. For details po, ulit, give us your contact numbers para makipag-ugnayan kami sa inyo.
Okay, so ang dami po palang programa ng SRA na mga nabanggit at sabi nga ni Attorney Santillana, kung kailangan nyo pa ng detalye tungkol sa mga programang ito, maaari po kayo makipag-ugnayan sa kanila. At para naman sa ating huling katanungan, ito ay galing kay Celso Diaz. In your findings, as to what extent the sugar production in the country has been affected during this pandemic? Sir?
Ang agriculture actually is one of the sectors na hindi siya masyadong affected by the pandemic. No? In fact, we have reported a growth of about 1 to 2%, no, during the last year. So, as far as SRA is concerned, ang pinaka-affected sa amin ay ang pag-extend namin ng technical assistance because of the limitations of travel. But then we tried our best na magamit namin ibang medium of communication and forms of extension like the webinar that we have now para makapag-extend na pa rin ng tulong. No? Ang isang setback lang ng pandemic is the pagbaba ng demand. No? But it has not really affected the price. In fact, we have good prices since last year until now.
Wow, nakakatuwa pong malaman na sa kabila ng ating dinadanas na COVID-19 pandemic ay nakakasurvive ang ating sugarcane industry. Palagay ko ito ay dahil sa mga pagsisikap ng ating mga business sector, mga sugarcane plantation owners na sa kabila ng mga sitwasyong ito ay patuloy pa rin ang kanilang hanap buhay, ika nga. At gayon din na nakakatuwa ding malaman na sa kabila ng pandemic ay kahit limitado ang technical assistance na ipoprovide sa ngayon ang dahil siguro sa mga travel restrictions ay naandyan pa rin ang ating ahensya ng pamahalaan upang sikaping maipahayag ang mga impormasyon at iba pang mga bagay na makakatulong sa ating mga sugarcane plantation owners and farmers. Okay, so dyan po nagtatapos ang part 1 ng ating programa. Ngayon naman ay dumako tayo sa part 2 ng ating webinar. At ito po ay ang discussion ng sugarcane production technologies. Bago po tayo tumungo sa discussion na to or sa presentation na to, nais po naming anyayahan yung mga kasalukuyang nanonood sa DOSTP Card Facebook Live na i-like and share ang webinar na ito para naman na mag-benefit din yung ating mga kaibigan at kakilala. Okay? Salamat po muli sa mga mahigit na 250 viewers sa Facebook Live at sana nga po ay matulungan natin ang ating industriyang ito sa pamamagitan ng pag-share ng information dito sa webinar or pag-share ng webinar na ito. Sige po, punta na po tayo sa part 2 ng ating programa. Para sa first presentation, i-welcome po natin si Mr. Rimmon Armones, Senior Science Research Specialist and Principal Sugarcane Breeder of DA-SRA and SRA La Granja Agricultural Research and Extension Center.
Sugarcane ay isa sa Philippines' major export crops na nagko-contribute ng hindi bababa sa 70 billion pesos sa ekonomiya ng bansa kada taon. Noong 2019 po ay nasa pang-11 po tayong pagdating sa sugarcane production worldwide. Ang sugarcane industry po ay nagpapatrabaho sa 5 milyong manggagawa kung saan kasama na po doon ang humigit kumulang 630,000 planter farmers na dependent on the industry for their livelihood and income. Currently, ang sugarcane industry po ay nanganganib dahil sa iba't ibang environmental and social concerns that includes climate change. Sa katanungan pong bakit mababa ang produksyon ng tubo dito sa Pilipinas as compared to other countries, sabi po ng USDA, ang decline in sugarcane production dito sa Pilipinas is mostly due to erratic weather conditions, lalo na po sa sugar-producing areas at sa pagliit din po ng planting areas as also reported by the Sugar Regulatory Administration. To address this issue, the Sugar Regulatory Administration has recommended two noteworthy climate-resilient sugarcane varieties that are high-yielding and disease-resistant, namely Phil 2006-2289 and Phil 99-1793. Phil 2006-2289 is a cross between Phil 98-258-3403 and Phil 8477, known as Fidel Ramos variety, a once popular variety known for tonnage and sugar rendement. This is now the most in-demand variety to most sugarcane planters owing to its high resiliency to various environmental conditions. It was found tolerant to poorly drained soils or areas with above optimum amount of water, or for instance during La Nina condition. Aside from that, it was also observed to be tolerant to drought, such as on areas with below optimum soil moisture, or such as during El Nino condition. Now, this is something that we don't normally see in a variety, being drought and waterlogged tolerant at the same time. During rainy season, we always hear planters having problems on their LKG per TC or sugar rendement. And the easiest way to deal with this is to plant high LKG per TC varieties, such as this one. A high tonnage, high sugar rendement variety. This was both attested by researchers and of notable respected big planters. It is erect and is ideal for mechanization or mechanized farming. Furthermore, it is a fast grower, non-flowering to very sparse, and resistant to smut, downy mildew, and leaf scorch. Notably, it is a high tillering variety, and that is why we are recommending a planting distance of 1.5 up to 1.8 meters per row to maximize the very good ratoning ability of the said cane. What we mean by very good ratoner is that it would go beyond 5 ratonings while still having a good stand and a decent profit. Longer ratoning means more savings, less expenses, and thereby an expected profit. It can be planted any time of the year, at most soil types or conditions, and harvested 11 to 12 months after planting. Phil 99-1793, on the other hand, is a cross between Phil 93-236-3301 and again Phil 8477, which was once used as a control variety for selection on tonnage of promising varieties and also popularly known for sugar rendement, tillering capacity, and adaptability. This variety is known for its drought tolerance, producing roots that penetrate deep enough to what most varieties can. It is recommended for areas that have minimal to below optimum level of soil moisture. However, unlike Phil 2006-2289, it can't withstand too much soil moisture. It was found also to be best planted in rolling areas as well as on mountainsides. On the other hand, it was observed that elevations near 400 meters above sea level increase the likelihood and intensity of flowering that could greatly affect the tonnage. Flowering is from sparse to non-flowering, and the best way to avoid or at least minimize this is planting generally from April to October. Harvesting during rainy days greatly affects the sugar rendement. but gives good sugar yield when harvested after 5 to 7 days of no rain. Best age to harvest is 11 months after planting on dry season and 12 to 13 months on wet season. It is a high tonnage cane with medium to high sugar rendement, a good germinator and fast grower, erect to recumbent, and resistant to smut, downy mildew, and leaf scorch. An excellent rattoning variety that, according to Sir Sherwin C. of Lopez Mel District, can go as high as 9 ratoons while still having a good stand and a decent profit. Longer rattoning means more savings due to fewer expenses on planting materials as well as on land preparation, and in so doing will give a better income.
Hi po, good afternoon. Ako po si Sherwin C., sugar farmer from Sagay City, Negros Occidental. We are currently using the variety from SRA, Sugar Regulatory Administration, the 99-17-93, which I tested with a 1 hectare. Ginamit namin yung 1 hectare na hanggang 8 ratoon. So mas naka-lessen yung ano namin, yung gastos sa planting and sa tractor plowing. Then we are also using the 2006 2289, which also is a good high tonnage, high LKGTC, and a good rattoner also from SRA. These varieties we are currently propagating are helped us a lot in giving us a good yield in our farm.
As our former manager in the breeding department used to say, there is no such thing as super varieties, only super planters in the sugarcane industry. You, our dear planters, will always be the key in determining the best variety for your farm. What we are always doing in SRA is to provide you with very good sugarcane varieties to choose from and the appropriate technologies that go with it. That will give a higher chance of succeeding in sugarcane farming and a higher income for the family. You will always be our family, and by helping you succeed, we succeed together. I would like to thank you for your time. If you have suggestions or clarifications regarding this presentation, you can reach me by my email address, raymond_a@yahoo.com, or to my official cell phone number, 099-8952-8726. Mabuhay po kayo! Mabuhay po tayong lahat!
Maraming salamat po, Mr. Armones. Maganda po yung sinabi niyo na your success is our success. Tunay nga po na ang ating SRA at iba pang ahensya ng pamahalaan ay naandyan para tulungan din kayong mag-succeed. At nagpapasalamat din kami sa nagbigay ng kanyang testimony, si Mr. Henry Risi ng Negros Occidental. Ngayon naman ay ating pakinggan ang ating second speaker. She is a retired university researcher from UPLB Biotech. After her retirement, she established a spin-off company called Fulmite Agricultural Corporation na nakabase sa Los Baños, Laguna. To discuss Nutrio Biofertilizer, let us all welcome the technology developer herself, scientist and now private company proprietress, Dr. Virginia M. Padilla.
Problems in sugarcane production here in the Philippines are the following. First is poor stand of sugarcane plants. This picture shows the appearance of sugarcane plants due to improper fertilizer management, such as minimal fertilization and or too much use of inorganic fertilizers that causes soil acidity. As a result of these practices, yields are low and it is reflected in our national average yield of only 60 ton cane per hectare. Second is drought occurrences. This soil condition can be observed in sugarcane areas of the Philippines with low rainfall due to climate change. Prolonged dry season during the critical stages of sugarcane plants result to poor growth and lower yields. Third is flooding. This picture shows running water through a sugarcane plantation to a drainage canal as a result of heavy rains. The floodwaters carry the applied fertilizers and the top fertile soil, resulting to a poor soil and thus declining soil fertility. Fourth is high cost of chemical fertilizers. High cost of imported chemical fertilizers causing drain of our dollar reserves. This problem and many other factors contribute to less farmers' income, causing non-sustainability in sugarcane production. The solution to the problem of declining yields is Nutrio. It is a supplement to inorganic fertilizers to supply additional plant nutrients. It is another method of supplying nutrients in addition to soil-applied fertilizers. It is not subjected to environmental hazards such as loss of applied fertilizers due to runoff with heavy rains. It is easy to apply and light to carry because it requires only a kilogram of Nutrio per hectare per application time. As a biofertilizer, Nutrio contains endophytic bacteria that promotes nitrogen fixation and production of plant growth promoting hormones. As it is shown in the picture, Nutrio is a supplement to the use of inorganic fertilizers. Nutrio acts effectively with lesser amount of inorganic fertilizers. These are the rates and timing of spraying Nutrio in sugarcane plants at 2 and 4 months after planting of the canes. Nutrio is sprayed twice only during the entire season. At each spraying time, 10 packs of 100 grams per pack are diluted in 1,000 liters of water. Since Nutrio comes in powdered form, it is mixed well in water first and then sprayed to the plants before or after applying inorganic fertilizers. After mixing, Nutrio is directly sprayed thoroughly in plants using a knapsack or power sprayer or by boom sprayer in large plantation areas. It should not be mixed with insecticides or fungicides as this will affect the beneficial microbes in Nutrio. Following are the benefits of using Nutrio in sugarcane production. It promotes healthier and greener plants. It promotes tillering. Nutrio increases yields in terms of ton cane per hectare and sugar yield per hectare. The sugar yield is based on the number of bags per hectare at 50 kg per bag or LKG per hectare. In 2019, a pilot test conducted in Region 6 showed that sugar yield in farmers' practice plus Nutrio is 124.98 LKG per hectare, which is 24 LKG per hectare or 19% higher than the farmer's practice alone with 104.98 LKG per hectare. Also, the one-half farmer's practice plus Nutrio is 114.4 LKG, which is 9.42 LKG per hectare or 8.97% higher than the farmer's practice alone of 104.98 LKG per hectare. Although the differences are not statistically significant, The increased LKG per hectare in using Nutrio and the reduction in cost of fertilizer use shall be very significant to a farmer. In a demo trial in Region 3, the sugar yield in the 1/2 farmer's practice plus Nutrio is 129.28 LKG per hectare, which is 33.85 LKG per hectare of sugar, or 36% higher than the farmer's practice without Nutrio of 95.43 LKG per hectare. The 1/2 farmer's practice plus Nutrio with 129.28 LKG showed 32.35 LKG per hectare of sugar, or 33% higher than the farmer's practice plus Nutrio of 96.93 LKG per hectare. This is a demo trial in Region 6, Silay Negros Occidental. In this slide, we will concentrate on the sugar yield or number of bags per hectare in red bars to compare farmer's practice only with farmer's practice plus Nutrio and 1/2 farmer's practice plus Nutrio. The sugar yield in red bars of farmer's practice plus Nutrio is 184.72 LKG per hectare, which is 25.77 LKG per hectare, or 16% higher than the farmer's practice without Nutrio of 158.95 LKG per hectare. Moreover, the treatment of 1/2 farmer's practice plus Nutrio produced 179.03 LKG per hectare, which is 20.0 LKG per hectare more sugar, or 13% higher than the farmer's practice without Nutrio of 158.95 LKG per hectare. This is a demo trial in Region 6, Licuan, Barotac Nuevo, Iloilo. The sugar yield with farmer's practice plus Nutrio is 137.38 LKG per hectare, which is 38.9 LKG per hectare, or 39% higher than that of farmer's practice without Nutrio of 98.48 LKG per hectare. Similarly, the treatment of 1/2 farmer's practice plus Nutrio had 120.95 LKG per hectare with 22.47 LKG per hectare more sugar, or 23% higher than the farmer's practice without Nutrio of 98.48 LKG per hectare. This is a result of the demo trial in Region 6, Tiwi, Barotac Nuevo, Iloilo. This slide shows the cane yield, tan cane per hectare, and sugar yields, LKG per hectare, in two farmers' practices of Nutrio timing of spraying. Nutrio is sprayed only at 2 months after planting, compared with twice spraying at 2 and 4 months after planting. Farmers' practice plus Nutrio sprayed twice yielded 77.7 tan cane per hectare, or 8.1% higher than the farmer's practice plus Nutrio sprayed once with a yield of 71.89 tan cane per hectare. Sugarcane sprayed twice produced greater number of bags of sugar per tan cane than the plants sprayed only once. The sugarcane plants sprayed twice produced sugar yield of 25.11 LKG per hectare, or 23% higher than those sprayed once. These are the yields, gross income, net income, added income due to Nutrio, and the ROI in a demo farm in Pando, Concepcion, Tarlac, as affected by with and without Nutrio. Except the sugar yield in LKG per tan cane and the total expenses, the 1/2 farmer's practice with Nutrio showed higher advantage than without Nutrio. The added income due to Nutrio was 72,755 pesos per hectare, and with an ROI of 185%. The same is true in a demo trial in Silay Negros Occidental. The net income obtained from the 1/2 farmer's practice plus Nutrio was 185,404.50 pesos per hectare. The added income due to Nutrio is 36,979.50 pesos per hectare with an ROI of 223%. Using Nutrio, the farmers get the following advantages: lesser chemical fertilizer use, lesser production costs, an increase in yield, thereby giving long-term land sustainability and increase in revenue. Full-Mite Agricultural Corporation's target users are the medium-sized farms, with total available market equivalent to 8,633 farms, with serviceable available market equivalent to 5,168 farms, and with 26 farms serviceable obtainable market equivalent to 665 hectares. This is Mr. Celso Lahoy-Lahoy of Don Carlos City, Bukidnon. He is a former seaman turned sugarcane planter. He sacrificed a very lucrative job in favor of his family. He is the first adopter of the Nutrio technology since 2018 to the present time. He started planting sugarcane in 2006 and he had high yields, but he noticed that his yields were declining until 2017 in his 23 hectares of plantation. In 2017, his yield without Nutrio produced 69 ton cane per hectare with a sugar yield of 124.2 lkg per hectare. In 2018, somebody from Pilsurin suggested to him to try using Nutrio. He immediately ordered Nutrio from us. In 2018, with Nutrio, he produced 95 ton cane per hectare, that is 38% higher than the previous year. His sugar yield became 211.85 lkg per hectare, which is 71% higher than his previous production. He got a net income of 220,775 per hectare with added income due to Nutrio of 124,475 pesos per hectare, and his ROI was 228%. The following video will show his personal testimony taken last 2019 in Central Mindanao University, Musuan, Bukidnon. Please watch the video.
Ako po ay si Celso Lahoy, nakatira po sa Don Carlos Province of Bukidnon. Ako po ay isang seaman, 14 years po naglalakad sa karagatan. And now, naging isang sugarcane farmers. I started planting since 2006 up to the present. Nangay kong advice sa akong mentor sa isa sugarcane nga siyang gi-advise ako mao ni nga mogamit og isa ka foliar fertilizer. So ang iyang gi-recommenda mo ang Nutrio. So last year gamit ko og kani nga produkto. So naka-harvest ko og 1,900 metric tons. Sumabot og 95 tons per hectare. So na-increase ko og 20 plus metric tons. So ang LKGTC maabot po og average 2.23. So ganado jud ko sa paggamit ako sa Nutrio foliar spray biofertilizer. So gwapo gid siya og resulta. So nakoy tulo ka hektarya nga gi-applyan sa Nutrio. Init magodiring diri sa mua, so talagsarang ulan. So gi-harvest na ko og sayo sa 9 months. So nikuha ko og 66 metric tons per 1 hectare, whereas katapad na ako digi sila harvest. So LKGTC po og mga 2.2 ang result niya.
Maraming salamat, Dr. Padilla, at sa isang farmer adapter na hanggang ngayon ay gumagamit ng Nutrio, si Mr. Celso Lahoy-Lahoy ng Bukidnon. Thank you po sa pagbabahagi ng mga information and testimonies tungkol sa paggamit ng Nutrio. Para po sa karagdagang kaalaman, maaari niyo pong makontak si Dr. Virginia M. Padilla sa email address na makikita niyo po sa screen, vmpadilla54@gmail.com, at ang kanya pong contact number ay 0917-170-8542. Okay. Ngayon naman ay dadako tayo sa ating pangatlong resource speaker on sugarcane production technologies. Ibabahagi po niya sa atin ang tungkol sa Fertigore Nanofertilizer. Let's all welcome Mr. Quincy Ybanez, an assistant professor of the Agricultural Systems Institute of the University of the Philippines, Los Baños.
Magandang hapon po sa inyong lahat. Ako po ay narito para ipakilala sa inyo ang Fertigore Nanofertilizers na isa pong makabagong teknolohiya sa pag-aabono at ang partikular na mga bentahe sa paggamit nito sa tubo o sugarcane. Ang Fertigore ay na-develop ng mga researchers mula sa University of the Philippines, Los Baños sa pamamagitan ng suporta na binigay ng DOST PCARD. Sa kasalukuyan, isa ang sugarcane sa mga pangunahing produkto ng Pilipinas na kung saan ang ani ay umaabot sa 21 milyong tonelada ng tubo o higit pa taon-taon. Ngunit sa kabila nito, patuloy ang pagbaba ng inaaning tubo kumpara sa inaasahang 75 tonelada na ani bawat hektarya ng lupang sinasaka. Bukod pa dito, makikita din ang pagbaba ng halaga ng produksyon ng tubo na dati ay umaabot ng 70 bilyong piso. Ngayon ay nasa 33 bilyong piso na lang. Bukod sa tagtuyot at unti-unting pagliit ng lupang nakatuon sa pagsasaka ng tubo, na siyang nagiging sanhi ng pagliit ng produksyon sa Pilipinas, ilan pa sa mga kinakaharap na problema ng industriya ay ang kakulangan ng patakaran, subsidy, makinarya, at infrastruktura para sa mga kooperatiba at magsasaka ng tubo. Nagkaroon na rin ng pagbaba ng taripa at pagpasa ng ASEAN Economic Community na maaaring maghimok sa malayang pagpasok ng ibang sugar brands na galing sa ibang bansang ASEAN. Dahil dito, kinakailangan talaga natin na magkaroon ng mga bagong pag-aaral kung paano mapapataas ang ani ng tubo sa bansa mula 60 hanggat 75 tonelada bawat hektarya. Dito papasok ang malaking kontribusyon ng Fertigore Nanofertilizers sa pagpapataas ng ani sa sugarcane. Ano nga ba ang Fertigore Nanofertilizers? Ang Fertigore Nanofertilizer ay isang uri ng inorganic fertilizer ng nitrogen, phosphorus at potassium na gumagamit ng makabagong teknolohiya na may slow nutrient release formulation. Dahil dito, tumataas ang uptake efficiency ng abono at nababawasan ang dami na kinakailangan na i-apply sa fertilizer. Ibig sabihin nito ay mas mababa ang recommended rate natin kapag ang Fertigore Nanofertilizers ang gagamitin natin kumpara sa mga conventional na abono na available sa market. Paano nga ba nagkakaroon ng slow release formulation ng Fertigore? Ang kaibahan ng Fertigore sa conventional na fertilizers ay nakapaloob ang mga nutrients tulad ng nitrogen, phosphorus at potassium sa isang carrier. Ang Fertigore ay dinisenyo upang ang nitrogen, phosphorus at potassium ay naka-encapsulate or naka-absorb sa isang carrier. Dahil dito, pagka na-i-apply na ang abono sa lupa, hindi agad-agad na i-expose sa mga nutrients sa soil environment na nagiging sanhi ng losses o pagkawalan ng mga nutrients sa halip na ma-uptake ito ng halaman. Tulad na lamang ng nitrogen na maaaring mawala sa pamamagitan ng leaching o pagka-washout ito sa lupa or volatilization o napupunta sa hangin pagkatapos itong makonvert sa ammonia gas. Dahil sa disenyo ng Fertigore, napoprotektahan ng mga abono sa soil degradation. Nagiging kontrolado ang release ng mga nutrients at dahil sa nanoformulation, napapaliit ang mga size ng mga particles na nagpapabilis ng absorption o uptake sa mga halaman. Sa pangkalahatan, nagkakaroon ng efficient nutrient utilization na tiyak na magpapaganda ng ani ng ating mga pananim. Bago tayo dumako sa paggamit at mga benepisyo ng Fertigore sa tubo, talakayin muna natin kung paano nga ba tinatanim ang sugarcane. Itinatanim ang sugarcane sa pamamagitan ng cane seeds o patdan, madalas tuwing buwan ng Oktubre hanggang Mayo. Inilalagay ang patdan sa kahabaan ng tudling na may 1.5 metro ang pagitan. Para sa mga naglalagay ng basal fertilizers, inuna munang ilagay ang pataba, tatabunan ng lupa, bago itanim ang patdan para maiwasan ang pagkasunog nito. Sa tillering at grand growth naman, isinasagawa ang patuloy na pagpapatubig at pagkontrol sa mga peste at sakit na maaaring lumabas sa taniman. Sinasagawa din tuwing grand growth ang propping o ang pagtukod ng mga tubo upang maiwasan ang pagbagsak at pagbaliko nito. Pati ang dethrashing o ang pagbabawas ng ibabang dahon ng tubo, bilang ang unang 8 hanggang 10 dahon sa bandang itaas lamang ang nagagamit ito sa pagsalo ng araw. Sa ngayon, meron ng mga bagong variety ng tubo na self-thrashing kung tinatawag or kusang naglalagas ng dahon sa loob ng grand growth stage at hindi na kinakailangan putulan at linisan pa. Sa loob ng 9 hanggang 12 buwan, pwede nang anihin ang tubo. Depende sa variety na ginagamit. May mga palatandaan din tayong ginagamit para malaman kung kailan mainam anihin ang tubo. Ito ay madalas malalaman sa tunog ng tubo kung may matinis at metallic na tunog na ito, o makikita sa pagdidilaw o pagkatuyo ng mga dahon, paglabas ng tassel o bulaklak, at ang paglabas ng buds sa nodes ng tubo. Kung titingnan natin ang pangangailangang nutrisyon ng sugarcane, makikita na parehong mataas ang demand ng nitrogen at phosphorus tuwing pagsusuhi o tillering, dahil kailangan ito sa pagdami at pagpapahaba ng suhi, at potassium tuwing grand growth hanggang paghihinog or ripening naman, dahil importante ito sa pagbuo ng tamis ng sugarcane. Dahil dito, naging ugali na ang paglagay ng abono kung hindi 1 beses tuwing pagtatanim, ay kundi 3 beses tuwing ikalawa at ika-4 na buwan upang tumugma sa pangangailangan ng tubo. Ito ang kaibahan ng conventional na abono sa Fertigore Nanofertilizers. Dahil sa slow nutrient release ng Fertigore Nanofertilizers, 1 beses tuwing pagtatanim lang inilalagay ang Fertigore at hindi na kinakailangan na maglagay ulit ng abono sa ikalawa at ika-4 na buwan. Dahil din dito, tumutugma ang availability ng nutrisyon sa demand ng sugarcane. Kaya maiwasan ang losses at mas mapapababa ang kinakailangang abono ng 45% o 45% kumpara sa conventional na abono. Sa isinagawang pagsusuri ng aming grupo sa Lagrana, Negros Occidental, makikita na mas maganda ang pagtubo ng sugarcane na ginamitan ng Fertigore Nanofertilizers na ibinaba ang rate ng 45% kumpara sa conventional na abono na ginamitan ng blanket recommendation. Kagaya ng ibang abono, inilalagay ang Fertigore Nanofertilizer sa kahabaan ng tudling at tinatakpan ng manipis na lupa bago taniman ng patdan. Para naman sa paglalagay ng Fertigore sa ratun, inilalagay ito sa tabi. Mga 2 pulgada ang layo mula sa ugat bago isagawa ang healing up. Kung mapapansin din sa video, minabuti rin ng aming grupo na gawing granule ang Fertigore para mas madali at ligtas ang paggamit at paglagay nito. Kung susuriin naman ang kikitain sa paggamit ng Fertigore Nanofertilizers kada hektarya, makikita na malaki ang ani sa Fertigore na umaabot sa 75 tonelada ng tubo. Bukod pa dito, ang magandang pagpapatubig at pag-aalaga ng tubo, pagliit ng kinakailangang dami ng abono at gastos sa pagpapalagay nito, ay nagdulot ng malaking pagtaas ng ani at kikitain na umaabot sa mahigit 117,000 piso. Samantalang ang conventional fertilizer naman ay meron lamang 58,000 pisong kinita. Sa madaling salita, kung gagamit kayo ng Fertigore Nanofertilizers para sa pananim na tubo, magkakaroon po kayo ng nasa mahigit 59,000 pisong dagdag kita mula sa naaning pananim kada hektarya. Bukod sa mga nabanggit na benepisyo ng Fertigore Nanofertilizers, ito ay ilan pa sa mga kagandahan ng Fertigore kaugnay sa Good Agricultural Practices or GAP. Ang ibinigay na recommended rate at oras ng paglagay ng Fertigore Nanofertilizer sa tubo ay resulta ng masusing pag-aaral sa isinagawang optimization at field validation trials ng aming grupo. Ang Fertigore Nanofertilizers ay mabisa rin upang mapataas ang nutrient efficiency at mapababa naman ang nutrient losses ng abono dahil sa slow nutrient release nito. Dahil dito, mas mapapababa rin ang gastos sa pagpapalagay at kinakailangan dami ng abono sa tubo ng dami ng abono sa tubo ng 45%. Ito naman po ang ating tatlong Fertigore nanofertilizers. Meron po tayong Fertigore N na may 29% nitrogen at nagkakahalaga ng 894 pesos per bag. Ang Fertigore P na mayroong 13% P2O5 at nagkakahalaga ng 990 pesos bawat bag. At Fertigore K na potassium na mayroong 48% K2O at nagkakahalaga ng 1,200 pesos per bag. At dito na po nagtatapos ang aking presentasyon kung paano gamitin ang Fertigore nanofertilizer sa pananim na tubo. Ang proyektong isinagawa ay pinangunahan ni Dr. Berdy Sanchez sa tulong ng DOST Picard, Nagrana Research and Training Station na pinamumunuan ni Dr. Emmanuel G. Samson, Hacienda Estella Agraria Reform Cooperative na pinamumunuan naman ni Mr. Nelson J. Agotmo at iba pang bumubuo sa proyekto ng Fertigore. Maraming salamat po sa pakikinig at naway maging masagana at maunlad ang inyong mga ani. Salamat po.
Magandang hapon po sa lahat ng partisipante at bumubuo ng programa ito. Ako po ay nag-aalala at nagpapasalamat sa oportunidad na maanyayahan na magbigay ng aming obserbasyon patungkol sa Fertigore nanofertilizers. Emmanuel Samson po, Station Manager ng UPLB CAPS, Nagrana Research and Training Station. Dito sa amin, hindi lamang dito sa istasyon, kundi sa buong isla ng Negros, ang pagtatanim ng tubo ay ang pangunahing pinagkakakitaan. Dahil dito, kilala din kung hindi man nangunguna ang Negros sa larangan ng sugarcane production. Ang amin pong istasyon ay naging kabilang sa isang progresibong kaganapan sa industriya ng agrikultura. Malugod po pong pinabahagi sa inyo na sa aming istasyon sa Lagrana, Negros Occidental, isinagawa ang pagsusuri ng epekto ng makabagong teknolohiya sa pataba sa lupa o fertilizers. Noong sinimulan po ang trial, una pong naming napansin na medyo may kahirapan sa pag-a-apply ng Fertigore nanofertilizers dahil powder ang anyo nito. Dahil dito, minabuti po ng Fertigore team na gawin itong granules para sa mabilis at ligtas na paggamit. Sa mga field trials naman po na isinagawa, makikita sa umpisa ay hindi ganon kalayo ang naging diferensya sa pagkabuuang pisikal na karakteristik ng tubo na ginamitan ng Fertigore nanofertilizers at ng commercial na fertilizers. Ngunit habang tumutubo at bumubulang po ang mga tubo, naobserbahan at napatunayan din sa mga datos na mas naging maganda ang pangkabuuang paglaki ng tubo na ginamitan ng Fertigore. Mas madami ang tumutubong tillers o sipil ng tubo na naging dahilan ng mas madaming ani. Kami dito sa Lagrana ang pangunahing pinagkukunan namin ng budget sa aming mga aktibidades ay ang sugarcane production. Dahil sa proyektong ito na nabuo ng Fertigore nanofertilizers, nakita namin na kung ito ay gagamitan ng pataba sa aming mga pananim na tubo, ay mas makakatipid kami sa gastos sa mga sugarcane operations. Katulad na lamang ng labor cost, isang beses lang ito i-apply. Ang mga resulta ay mas maganda pa ang paglaki at ani ng tubo. Mas malaki ang ikitain, lalo na ang mga tinatawag na small farmers na hindi kalawakan ang lupang pinataniman ng tubo dahil sa mas mababang gastos sa inputs, ngunit may malaking ani. Nakakatuwa pong isipin na ang makabagong teknolohiyang ito ay lubos na makatulong sa problema ng mga sugarcane planters, lalo na po na laging taas-baba ang presyo ng suka. Sana po ay masubukan natin ang paggamit ng Fertigore nanofertilizers upang mapatunayan natin ang bisa ng teknolohiyang ito. Maraming salamat po at mag-ingat tayong lahat.
Maraming salamat, Mr. Quincy Ybanez ng UPLB CAFS. I think nakikita ko sa ating Facebook, dumadami na po yung ating mga comments at mga katanungan. Mamaya po, abangan po natin ang ating open forum. Para po sa mga karagdagang impormasyon tungkol sa Fertigore, maaari nyo pong makontak si Mr. Quincy Ybanez sa email ad at telephone number na naka-flash po sa ating harapan sa screen. Ang email ad po niya ay qeybanez@up.edu.ph at maaari niyo po siyang makontak sa 0997-901-7428. Yan po ang contact details ni Mr. Quincy Ybanez. Ngayon naman po, dumako tayo sa ating huling speaker. At ang kanya pong ipipresent ay ang tungkol sa Automated Furrow Irrigation System for Sugarcane Production. Our speaker is currently a professor and chief of the Land and Water Resources Management Center of the Central Luzon State University. Let us all welcome Dr. Armando N. Espino Jr.
Several challenges facing the sugar industry in the Philippines. We have to produce sugar efficiently, more productively, at lower cost. We have to consider climate change causing damage to sugar industry in the past years. In the expansion of production area, the availability of water should be taken into account. The average age of Filipino farmers is around 57 to 59 years old. Kailangan po natin gumawa ng mga tamang hakbangin upang matulungan at maiangat ang industriya ng tubo. Ang kasalukuyan pong produksyon ng tubo sa Pilipinas ay nag-a-average ng 60 tonelada ng tubo bawat ektarya. Mababa ang produksyong ito kung ihahalin tulad sa ating mga karatig bansa na nagpo-produce din ng tubo. Thailand has an average yield of 70 ton cane per hectare, while Brazil can achieve 150 tons cane per hectare. Ang aming pong programa sa tubo ay naaayon sa hangarin ng Philippine sugar industry. Our efforts have focused on developing productive, viable farms yielding 75 ton cane per hectare and the expansion of production area. Kami po ay naniniwala na ang layunin na ito ay makakamit using smart management strategies for sugarcane. May iba't ibang pamamaraan ng pagpapatubig ng tubo sa Pilipinas. Sa bandang Visayas, particular na sa Negros, ay maobserbahan niyo ang paggamit ng sprinkler at drip irrigation. Sa aming survey na ginawa, ang mas gustong pamamaraan ng pagpapatubig ng ating mga manananim ng tubo ay ang pagpapadaloy ng tubig sa pagitan ng mga tudling o ng tinatawag na furrow irrigation. Ano po kaya ang dahilan? Ang pangunahin pong dahilan kaya mas gusto ng ating planters ang furrow irrigation ay maliit lamang ang kinakailangang kapital at dahil ang sistema nito ng pagpapatubig ay simple lamang. Kaunting kasanayan lamang ang required sa management ng irrigation. Furrow irrigation involves low capital cost and requires low skill level. Pinakamadalas na ginagamit sa pagpapatubig ng tubo ang furrow irrigation. Pero may mga suliraning kakibat ang paggamit nito. With poor management, significant loss of water through runoff and deep percolation is expected. Marami pong tubig ang nasasayang. Low uniformity of water application is another problem. Hindi tayo nakasisiguro kung pareho ng dami ang natatanggap na tubig ng ating pananim. Furrow irrigation requires high labor requirement. Kailangan ay nakabantay sa taniman ang nagpapatubig ng kung ilang oras upang mapatubigan ng maayos ang mga pananim. We are transforming the conventional furrow irrigation into automated furrow irrigation system. The reason for this change is to reduce the burden of growers from labor-intensive irrigation activities. Automation can ensure that irrigation is applied precisely at the right time and at the right amount. Automation can result to higher water productivity and reduced pumping cost. Papaliwanag namin ngayon kung paano namin pinatakbo ang sistema ng ating automated furrow irrigation system. Ang experimental area po namin na may 1 hektarya ay hinati sa 4 na blocks. Bawat block ay may irrigation valve na may nakakabit na linear actuator. May flexible hose na 3 inches ang diameter na siyang magsisilbing block lateral ang nakakabit sa valve. Sa kahabaan ng block lateral ay naglagay kami ng mga multiple outlets na nakatutok sa pagitan ng bawat tudling. Ang pagbukas at pagsara ng valve ay isinasagawa ng nakakabit na linear actuator na tumutulak o umihila sa lever ng irrigation valve. Ang galaw ng linear actuator ay galing sa instruction ng field control nodes. Bawat irrigation valve assembly ay may isang field control node. May mga soil moisture sensors at flow advance sensors ang naka-install sa bawat block. Ang mga field sensors na ito ay nagbibigay ng data sa main controller. Ina-analyze naman ng main controller kung dapat na bang magpatubig ang isang particular na block. If the moisture content of a block reaches threshold value or irrigation set point, the main controller gives instruction to a particular field control node to open the valve and start irrigation. The valve then closes after the cut-off time has been met. The project area was located in a 1.5 hectare farm in Barangay Dampe, Florida Blanca, Province of Pampanga. Kami po ay nakipag-ugnayan sa Dampe Palay and Sugarcane Producers Cooperative upang sa kanilang lugar maisagawa ang research project ni ito. Noong nabuo na ang iba't ibang components ng automated furrow irrigation system, ang sistema ay tinesting muna namin sa field para ma-evaluate ang system nito in terms of transmission and reception response time, accuracy and reliability of the system between microcontroller units. Nagsimula po ang aming activity sa Barangay Dampe noong February 11, 2019 nang kami ay nagtanim ng cane points sa project site with a planting density of 30,000 cane points per hectare. Ang variety po ng tubo na aming itinanim ay ang PS862 variety. Field measurements were taken from the field to be used as inputs during simulations. Infiltration parameters, soil physical properties, dimension of furrows, and other pertinent data were gathered. Shear mode simulation result using the field measurements as inputs provided the optimum time for the 50-meter furrow. The main controller and field control nodes of the automated furrow irrigation system were installed at the project site. Soil moisture sensors and flow advance sensors were installed in pair for every block. Information from the sensors are to be transmitted to the main controller and processed. Flexible hoses serving as block laterals were connected to irrigation valve assembly, which we have named offtakes. The linear actuators are connected to the control nodes. Outlets were installed along the length of block laterals at regular intervals corresponding to furrow width to simultaneously irrigate individual furrows. Irrigation water is being pumped by a 12 horsepower diesel engine from shallow tube well. We have attached an electronic starter to the diesel engine. The electronic starter is powered by batteries and was being charged by solar panels. The pump water is stored in a concrete reservoir with float switches at maximum and minimum level. At minimum level, the float switch shall start at the operation of the pump, while the maximum float switch shall stop pump operation. This is important because the system requires availability of irrigation water 24/7. This is an illustration of the flow of pumped water in an irrigation event. From the concrete reservoir, water flows into the main line. When the offtake of a block is open, flow goes into the block lateral and simultaneously each individual furrow is irrigated. The opening and closing of the valves at the offtakes can also be manually and remotely controlled by a mobile application that the project was also able to develop. Plant height measurements were taken on a monthly basis. Data showed that the height of sugarcane stalks were significantly higher in blocks irrigated by the automated furrow irrigation system. The crops were harvested manually last January 28, 2020, about a year after planting. The average yield for each block were determined. Yield in automated furrow irrigation system irrigated blocks is higher by 58% as compared to blocks irrigated by conventional furrow method. We had a water savings of 47% and a significantly higher water productivity. The juice of the harvested sugarcane were extracted and analyzed in the laboratory. Juice analysis revealed that the amount of sugar that can be recovered for every ton cane of sugarcane is consistently higher in blocks irrigated by the automated furrow irrigation system. Our benefit cost analysis, a benefit cost ratio of 2.88 was realized in blocks irrigated by the automated furrow irrigation system, while the conventional method had a benefit cost ratio of 1.45. Pakinggan naman natin ngayon kung ano ang masasabi ni Ginoong Ruperto Sibug, ang ating planter cooperator sa automated furrow irrigation system na miyembro din ng Dandampe Palay Sugarcane Producers Association.
Masasabi ko yung pag-irrigate sa tubo, madaling lumaki yung tubo, saka diretso yung paglago ng tubo. Sa Autofurrow, parehas yung dahil na tubig sa tubling ng tubo. Diretso lang sa kwan. Di pa ng manual, gagamit ka pa ng asarol para lagyan mo ng daanan yung tubig. Automatic yung pagkuhan ng tubig pagka napuno na, automatic mag-off yung valve, lilipat sa kabila. Sa automatic, kung ilan yung nilagay na panabutas, dun dada ng tubig. Sa manual, hanggang 5 lang yung 4, ganyan yung makakuha ng tubig, babantayan mo pa. Sa manual, kung di babantayan, wala, hindi lilipat yung tubig.
Automated furrow irrigation system showed strong potential in supporting the expansion of sugarcane production areas because of increased availability of irrigation water. For this R&D project, we have to thank our funding agency, the DOST PCARD, our farmer cooperator, Mr. Sibug, the Dampe Palay and Sugarcane Producers Cooperative, and our partners in Bataan Peninsula State University and Luzon Agricultural Research and Extension Center of the Sugar Regulatory Administration.
Maraming salamat po, Dr. Espino ng Central Luzon State University at gayon din po ang kanyang farmer cooperator na si Mr. Ruperto Sibug ng Florida Blanca, Pampanga. Dumako naman po tayo sa pinakahihintay na portion ng ating mga Facebook live viewers at ito po ay ang ating open forum. Inaanyayahan po namin ang aming mga resource speakers na sumagot sa mga katanungang ipa-flash sa screen para sa question and answer portion na ito. Para po kay Mr. Armones, ang katanungan po ay what specific cane variety gives highest LKG per ton cane, and what is the top producing variety for this year 2021? Ito po ay galing kay Luisa Moreno or kay Jaya Omay at kay Jaya Omay.
Magandang hapon po sa ating lahat, kay Ma'am Luisa at saka kay Ma'am G. Yung specific kung titingnan po natin yung sugarcane variety ay nagbabari po yung kanilang performance sa bawat lugar. So, hindi po natin ma-generalize. Pero, what we are saying here sa ating topic is that kung gusto nating mag-succeed, yung pinakamataas na percentage would be from our two main varieties na present kanina, yung PIL 2006-2289, tsaka yung PIL 991793. Based po sa what is the top producing variety for 2021, yung crop year 2021 po is hanggang next year pa. Pero what we are seeing now sa ating mga big planters is that yung ating PIL 2006-2289 yung masasabi nating nagbibigay na ngayon ng magandang LKG per TC sa ating usually mga plantations na nag-a-adapt na ng ganitong variety.
Okay, para naman sa ating susunod na katanungan, galing kay Ian Paul Perez. Ito ay para kay Dr. Padilla. Dr. Padilla, what is the other alternative replacement for inorganic fertilizer that does not affect productions? Kasi po ang taas daw ng ating presyo ng inorganic fertilizer ngayon. Dr. Padilla? Dr. Padilla, ang inyo pong microphone ay nakamute. Makikiulit lang po ang inyong mga sinabi.
Okay. Good afternoon to everyone. Good afternoon, Ian. First of all, I would like to tell you that when Nutrio was developed, the main purpose was to reduce the use of inorganic fertilizer, which is very high and also very high ang cost. So Nutrio, what is your question? Number one. I'm saying that Nutrio is not an alternative replacement. It is a supplement to inorganic fertilizer. When I mentioned it in my presentation, Nutrio, it is plus with inorganic fertilizer, but it is 50% reduction. That does not affect production I think the effect of this combination is very good because you have a reduced fertilizer, reduced cost of production, you have an increase in yield, you have a long-term sustainability, and of course, you will have a high income or revenue. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Dr. Padilla. Narinig niyo po na ang Nutrio ay supplement to inorganic fertilizer, pero magkakaroon po kayo ng 50% reduction in nitrogen. I think in nitrogen or cost of inorganic fertilizer. Ang susunod na katanungan ay para kay Mr. Ybanez. What is the importance of nanofertilizer? Sir?
Hi, good afternoon po. Good afternoon, Ma'am Ovi. At good afternoon po sa lahat ng tagapakinig. Okay, so the advantage of using nanofertilizers is that these materials, since they have very small size, actually that's 1/1,000,000th of a meter, ganun po kalit ang nano materials. So they have extremely high surface area to volume ratio. So meaning when these nanomaterials are used as carriers for nutrients, mas madami tayong maloload na nutrients as compared to when using the same materials that are not nano in size. So also, since the nutrients are encapsulated, the nutrients are not immediately exposed to the soil environment. So losses from leaching and volatilization are prevented. So release of nutrients become more controlled. Kaya tinatawag na slow release nutrient formulation. So this will greatly improve the nutrient use efficiency of our fertilizers. So yun lang po.
Salamat, Mr. Ybanez o Sir Quincy. Galing naman kay Eliza Per Mendoza at ang tanong ay para kay Dr. Espino. What do you think will be the effect of latest technologies in sugarcane to the laborer? Medyo general po yung question. Siguro, specify na lang po natin sa Autofurrow. Ano po ang latest effect ng Autofurrow sa sugarcane? Nakamute po kayo. Inaanyayahan po namin lahat ng speaker na wag nyo na pong i-unmute ang inyong mga microphone para po madali kayong makasagot. Sige po. Dr. Espino, Dr. Espino, wala po kayong audio?
Meron na?
Ayan po, sir.
Okay.
Okay po.
So, sorry nakalagay dito sa screen ko, hindi naman nakamute. Eliza, ito ang masasabi natin dyan. Yung aming proposed at ginawang Autofurrow system ay isang malaking purpose niyan ay para matulungan natin yung ating mga magsasaka dahil yung ang ating edad ng ating mga partner medyo 57 to 59 years old. So, kailangan ng suporta nila. No? At mahirap talaga magpatubig na naobserbahan namin sa aming pagmamasid nung aming ginagawa itong project natin. So, narinig niyo naman doon sa ating farmer cooperator kung gaano naging kaginhawa ang pagpapatubig gamit ang Autofurrow. So, marirelease sila sa kanilang oras at mas marami pa silang magagawa na ibang activities na nauukol din sa production ng tubo. No? So, madadali ang kanilang trabaho, especially sa pagpapatubig.
Okay. Bago po yung ating susunod na katanungan, nais ko lamang mag-lift ng isang tanong, magandang tanong, Dr. Espino, tungkol sa Autofurrow. Ano po daw yung total cost of installing AFIS as against furrow irrigation system? As against the regular furrow irrigation system. Meron po ba tayong datos?
meron ho tayong datos dyan na yung ating pinakita ay para lang sa maliliit na parang hinati-hati natin isang hektarya, no? Pero yon pwede naman gamitin na yung isa nating bulb ay magsiservisyo sa isang hektarya. So sa estimate namin ay lumalabas siguro na gagastos tayo ng mga 75,000 no bawat hektarya. Kasi lahat naman ng materialis na ginamit natin dito, wala namang imported doon. No? Lahat ng gamit ay binili lang namin dito sa ating bansa. No? So yun ang kagandahan nun. Pati yung maintenance nun, wala tayong problema. No? Dahil dito dinivelop yun at dito rin pinabricate. So yun ang yung kasing sistema na to, pwede nating i-integrate sa kasalukuyang irrigation support program ng SRA sa ating mga magsasaka. No? So, pwede natin siyang isama upang maging mas lalong epektibo ito upang matulungan natin yung ating mga sugarcane farmers.
Okay, maraming salamat Dr. Espino. Pero kung hindi pa na-satisfy si Mr. William Grueso sa kanyang katanungan, maaari niyo po siyang i-email. Kanina po, medyo nakalimutan po namin ilagay ang kanyang contact details. Pero Mr. Grueso, si Dr. Espino po ay maaari niyong makontak sa kanyang email address na ayan po, naka-flash na sa screen, anespinojr@yahoo.com.ph at sa kanyang telephone number na 09155882101. Okay.
Mag-iintay po ako ng mga inquiry niyo sa email.
Ayun. Maraming salamat po, Dr. Espino. Ang ating susunod na tanong para naman muli kay Mr. Armones. Sir, what are the recommended methods or artificial interventions to improve the sweetness of canes, especially during climates where it causes the canes to have low sugar? Siguro ito yung pagka meron tayong drought, nagkakaroon ba ng low sugar ang sugarcane?
Okay, sige. Yung recommended methods po natin usually ay para mas economical, gumagamit po tayo ng varieties na matatamis. For example, yung ating Phil 2006-2289 na just in case, kasi yung problema natin during rainy season is mababa yung ating yung LKG per TC natin kasi maulan nga. So yung panlaban natin dyan, yung solusyon natin, the easiest way is to plant sweet canes during that season. So yun po yung at saka atin din pong nire-recommend na if possible, mas maganda pong i-harvest natin yung ating tubo 11 to 12 months. Hindi na bababa doon kasi yung sa ibang lugar, kung minsan 9 months, 10 months hina-harvest na nila. So yung nire-recommend po natin is 11 to 12 months para mas nakakasigurado po tayo na yung ating tubo ay mature na. And at the same time, naabot niya na yung peak niya when it comes sa pag-accumulate niya ng sugar sa kanyang katawan. Maraming salamat po.
So it is during the rainy season pala na bumababa ang LKG. So ang recommendation is to plant sweet sugarcane varieties. Tama po, sir? Okay. So may isa lang po akong katanungan bago yung naka-flash. Para po ito sa Nutrio and Fertigore. May nagtatanong po tungkol sa price. Magkano daw po ang Nutrio at Fertigore? At ito po ba ay available sa I think sa Tarlac, sa bandang Tarlac? Ayun. Doon po sa lugar na yon. Unahin po natin si Si Ma'am G. Padilla, magkano po ang Nutrio?
Ang Nutrio sa ngayon is 350 per 100 grams. That is 1 packet. Kasi ang requirement sa sa tubo ay 10 pakete. So, kada 20 packets, 2 beses na ina-apply, 2 months and 4 months. So, ang magiging cost ng Nutrio per hectare is 2,500. 2 beses lang na inilalagay yun, ini-spray.
Okay. So, kay Mr. Quincy Ybanez naman, magkano daw po ang Fertigore kung may interested na bumili or mag-order sa UPLB?
Po, so Fertigore will be available soon po. Team is still currently working on the necessary permits, establishing partnerships and collaborations for fertilizer mass production. So prior to market release. So sa ngayon hindi pa po siya available, but it will be available soon po.
Oh. Okay, so Fertigore will be available soon while Nutrio is already available. So sabi nga ni Dr. Padilla, ang cost ay 3,500 for 1 hectare. And Fertigore nga,
correction po ma'am, ang cost po ng isang pakete ay 350 pesos. Kaya naging 7,000 ayun ay cost per hectare kasi ang kailangan sa isang hektarya ay 20 pakete. So ang isang pakete ay 350.
Okay. So 20 packets po ang kailangan sa isang hectare. Tama po?
Tama po.
20 packets at ang isang pakete ay 350 pesos. At ang application po nitong 20 packets na to ay 10 packets for the first 2 months after planting and yung the next 10 packets ay 4 months after planting sugarcane.
Tama po. Tama po.
Okay. Salamat po, Dr. Padilla. So very soon, lalabas na po ang mako-commercialize na din po ang Fertigore at yan po ay inihahanda na ng UPLB. Ang ating susunod na katanungan naman ay galing kay Loverich James. Ito ay para kay Mr. Ybanez. For instance, a certain field did not undergo soil analysis. Is there a standard protocol for fertilizer application in sugarcane?
Thank you, Ms. Loveridge, for that question. Actually, in order to have a more efficient fertilizer application, it is really necessary to conduct initial soil characterization, meaning we need to measure the total N, available phosphorus, exchangeable K, pH, organic matter, CEC, etc. So we can diagnose which nutrients are present in deficient levels or excess levels, and we can come up with a more accurate fertilizer rate. So if wala kayong access to a nearby soils laboratory, you can buy a soil test kit. So it is a diagnostic tool which can estimate the levels of NP and K and pH in the soil. So qualitative siya. And actually, mabibili nyo to sa UP Los Baños, and you can also send your samples for analysis sa Soils Analytical Services Laboratory. Yan, nag-plug na po ako. So, yung pong masasuggest ko, it's really necessary to conduct initial soil characterization before you apply fertilizers. So para ma-avoid natin yung excess fertilization. So you're just applying fertilizers in the right amount and timing din. So yun po.
Okay, mahalaga po yung sinabi ni Mr. Ybanez na magkaroon muna ng soil analysis or soil characterization bago tayo mag-apply ng fertilizer para walang excessive amount ng fertilizer at para ma-determine natin yung right timing and amount na kailangang ilagay na nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium. Ang ating susunod naman na katanungan ay para kay Dr. Espino. Sir, what are the advanced technologies on sugarcane farming? Meron po bang mga remote sensing? and technologies and mapping, yung sa sugarcane farming po?
Sa akin po naman ay pwede kong i-share yung aming experience nung kami nagpunta sa Australia, no? Na sana ay mapunta rin dito, no? So, kamukha nga doon sa fertilization, meron silang machineries na pwedeng mag-apply ng variable rate. Kasi yung fertility level ng kanilang farm, hindi na yung bloke-bloke, kundi mas mataas na ang resolution. So, gumagawa sila ng mapa ng fertility level at depende doon sa fertility map na yon, i-apply naman ng variable rate fertilizer applicator yung kinakailangang fertilizer ayon sa kanilang mga recommendation. So yun ang isa sa aming naobserbahan doon sa punta namin sa Australia. Ang isa pa, yung sa pagtakbo ng traktora, sa paggawa sa bukid, yung traktora pwede nang tumakbo na nag-iisa, no? Parang na siya, autonomous yung kanilang mga machinery. Kaya nga doon hindi mo kukunti lang yung taong gumagawa sa bukid. So, yun ang ilan sa aming naobserbahan nung kami napunta doon sa Australia, yung mga makabagong teknolohiya tungkol sa sugarcane farming kasama ng iba pang advanced technologies.
Ayan, talaga pong ang trend ngayon is automation or robotics. Sana yung mga nakita ni Dr. Espino na mga technology sa Australia ay magkaroon din tayo dito sa Pilipinas. Pero yun pong automated furrow irrigation system is an initiative, a smart farming technology na kung saan nga sa kanyang presentation kanina, nakita natin kung paano ino-automate yung irrigation na hindi na kailangang magstay o bantayan yung even with a click of a menu in the mobile phone, bubukas na yung valve, tama po ba sir? Bubukas na yung valve at dadalo na yung tubig doon sa bukid.
Kahit kung naka-lockdown tayo, pwede tayo magpatubig.
Ayun, so kahit naka-lockdown, okay, di ba? Maganda pong teknolohiya yan. At I think may nakita po akong tanong from Bel Surara tungkol sa age ng mga farmers natin. Nabanggit po kanina ni Dr. Espino yun na aging na yung ating mga farmers, di po ba? Ang average age ay 56 to 59. Kaya po tinatarget po natin na magkaroon ng smart farming technologies, automated robotics sa sugarcane production para po ma-address itong ating kakulangan sa mga laborers dahil aging na nga po yung population ng ating farmers at ma-encourage din po yung ating mga kabataan na mahilig na sa mga automation at sa mga robotics. Okay? Meron pa po ba tayong katanungan? Okay, para naman kay Mr. Armones. Ano daw po yung drought-resistant na varieties?
Salamat sa tanong ni Sir Kenneth. Meron po tayong drought-tolerant na varieties. Yung kanina pong diniscuss natin, yung PHIL 2006 to 289, tsaka po yung PHIL 991793. Drought-tolerant po sila in a sense na kahit mayroong drought, naapektuhan din sila, pero yung kanilang performance when it comes sa kanilang yield ay hindi masyadong apektado. So yun po yung nire-recommend natin sa mga areas na kung saan medyo kulang yung tubig, medyo dry yung climate condition doon. Yun po yung mga nire-recommend natin na mga varieties.
Okay, so yan po yung mga drought-resistant varieties. Kenneth Fernando. Okay. Galing naman kay Edwin Gelogo for Dr. Padilla. Tungkol po sa cost and benefit analysis ng Nutrio Biofertilizer. Meron po bang available na data tungkol dito?
Ang ibibigay kong available data na pinakamaganda yung sa actual farm, large plantation area. Yung kay Mr. Celso Lahoy-Lahoy, ang kanyang cost-benefit analysis sa kanya, ang kanyang total, ang kanyang gross income is 317,775 with an expenses of 97,000 pesos doon sa gumamit siya ng Nutrio. No, hindi siya gumamit ng Nutrio, ang kanyang expenses is 90,000 pesos. So, ang kanyang net income ay 220,775 pesos at meron siyang added income due to Nutrio na 124,475 pesos. At ang kanyang ROI ay 228%.
Okay. Ang laki po ng ROI per hectare po yan. Ano po yung ROI nyo na 200+%? At ang net income ay 250,775. 220,775 para po sa ilang hektarya ito?
Sa isang hektarya yan. Per hectare.
Para po sa, maganda pala maganda pala magnegosyo sa sugarcane. Ano po? Ang laki po ng kita. Para sa mga gustong mag-retire at marami po kayong bakanting lote na gusto nyong taniman, nire-recommenda ko po sa inyo ang sugarcane. Pero syempre, kailangan po malaman natin kung ito ang location o ang soil ay suitable para po sa sugarcane production.
Yes.
Ang susunod naman nating katanungan para ay kay Mr. Ybanez. When Fertigore is used, what is the net income per hectare of sugarcane plantation? Galing po yan kay Carlos Garcia, Nosme. Puro po kaperahan yata ito at ang ating mga katanungan ngayon. Sir Ybanez po?
Okay, so based po sa field evaluation trials namin sa La Granja, Negros Occidental, ang net income po namin ay nasa 90 tons per hectare po.
Ang net income po, ang yield. Ang yield po.
Ang yield po ay 90 tons per hectare. Ang net income po namin ay wala po sa akin yung data. I think pwede ko pong
i-compute. Okay.
Wala po sa akin.
Per hectare din po yon yung 90 ton cane. Ano po?
Opo.
Na yield. Okay. So, maari po yung i-compute sa inyo ni Mr. Ybanez.
Yield po ang 90 tons.
Baka mamaya ay makompute na niya, sasabihin po niya sa atin.
Okay. Sige po.
Okay. Ang susunod namang katanungan ay para kay Dr. Espino. Ano po yung mga parameters bago po mag-irrigate ng using automated furrow irrigation system?
Right. Tama po yung tanong na yan. No? Dahil ang lagi nating sinasagot para magkaroon tayo ng epektibong irrigation ay kung kailan tayo dapat mag-irrigate at kung kailan dapat nating tapusin ang pag-irrigate. So, anong level ng pagka soil moisture ang dapat nating doon magsisimula ang irrigation. Dapat malaman natin yon. At yun naman ay malalaman sa mga experiment na rin. Ano? So ang ginawa nga lang namin dito, ito ay base sa dati naming experiment noong 2015 na kung saan nalaman namin na ang pinakamaganda na magsimula ng irrigation kung yung available water sa lupa ay nasa 50% na. Pangalawa naman, ang kailangan nating malaman kasi medyo maraming dapat tingnan kung furrow irrigation, ano? Gaano katagal dapat ang ating pag-irrigate para yung tamang dami ng tubig ay maibigay natin sa halaman. So kaya nga kailangan malaman natin kailan natin umpisahan
kailan natin naman i-stop yung ating irrigation. So, yun ay mapag-aaralan naman natin. Ito kasi ay specific sa field kung saan andun yung ating pananim. So, madali lang naman yung pag-aaralan yun. So, yun ang dalawa. Kung kailan tayo magsimula na mag-irrigate at gaano tayo katagal mag-irrigate. Kasi kung sumobra, ay marami tayong aksaya. Kung kulangin naman, hindi tama yung ating pag-irrigate kung maigsi yung ating duration ng irrigation. Hindi magiging sapat ang ibibigay nating tubig. So, when to irrigate, how much to irrigate, yun po ang dapat nating masagot muna. Salamat po, Mr. Gonzales.
Okay, so when to irrigate and how much to irrigate. Importante po yan sa technology na pinakita sa atin ni Dr. Espino, yung automated furrow irrigation system. Para po sa ating dalawang huling katanungan, yung isa ay galing kay Jenaline Mangaw para kay Mr. Armones. What are the best sugarcane variety studied for Muscovado production? Meron po bang ganon na best sugarcane variety for Muscovado?
Salamat, Ms. Jenaline, sa iyong katanungan. Sa ngayon po, yung variety po na nakita po naming maganda yung performance when it comes to to Muscovado production, ayun pong Phil 991793. Actually, most of yung sa yun po yung nakita namin na maganda yung performance at tested na rin for how many years na rin po ginagamit ngayon pang palit po doon sa mga lumang variety na ginagamit noon sa for Muscovado production. So Phil 991793 po.
Phil 991793. Tama po. Yun. Yung mga gustong mag-negosyo sa Muscovado, tandaan niyo po yung variety na yan. At yan po ay makukuha nila sa SRA?
SRA, tsaka sa mga MDDCs, meron na rin po. Mill District.
Sa mga milling districts, milling development districts.
Mill District Development Council.
Okay, sa MDDCs po. Okay. Ang huling katanungan naman ay galing kay Gusi Gatuslao. For Mr. Ybanez, what are the concrete solutions to address high cost of inputs, especially fertilizer? Medyo general po yung question, pero I'm sure masasagot to ni Mr. Ybanez.
Okay, thank you po sa katanungan, Sir Josie. I think boils down to proper nutrient management po. So this means having your soil analyzed first, tulad na sabi ko earlier, so that you can formulate an accurate fertilizer rate for your farm. So to avoid excess fertilization, which can lead to higher costs, input costs, and even bukod sa contamination to the environment, right? So you are only applying the amount of fertilizers that the plants require. So through this, mapapababa natin yung input costs natin, labor cost, and yung cost ng fertilizers. So this will significantly reduce your input costs and even improve your potential yield. So, ilan po, ma'am.
Okay. Maraming salamat, Mr. Quincy Ybanez ng UPLB, Dr. Armando Espino ng CLSU, Dr. Virginia Padilla na ngayon ay proprietress ng kanyang Full-Mite Agricultural Corporation. At dati rin po siya sa UPLB Biotech. At gayon din, salamat kay Mr. Rimmon Armones ng Sugar Regulatory Administration. Gusto ko rin pong pasalamatan ang kanilang mga farmer cooperators na nagbigay ng testimonies. Si Mr. Israel Teles, si Sherwin C. ng Negros Occidental, si Celso Lahoy-Lahoy ng Bukidnon, si Emmanuel Samson ng La Granja Research and Training Center, at si Mr. Roberto Sibug ng Florida Blanca, Pampanga. May we remind our participants to stay until the end of the program so they can see the customer satisfaction feedback or CSF form that you need to fill out before we can provide the e-certificates. Okay, so mag-antay po kayo at para makita niyo po or ma-scan yung QR code for the CSF form. Okay, nandito na po tayo, dumating na po tayo sa huling yugto ng ating programa at para i-close or to formally close our program, may we call the Director of the Agricultural Resources Management Research Division of ARMRD or ARMRD of DOST Picard, si Dr. Juanito Batalon.
Isang maganda at matamis na hapon sa ating lahat. Una sa lahat ay nais kong pasalamatan si Administrator Hermenegildo Serafica of the Sugar Regulatory Administration, ang aming Executive Director, Dr. Reynaldo V. Iborra, at ang aming Deputy Executive Director for Research and Development, Dr. Feliciano G. Calora Jr., sa kanilang lubos na pagsuporta sa webinar natin ngayon. Nagpapasalamat din ako sa ating mga mahuhusay na tagapagsalita na nagbahagi ng kanilang mga kaalaman at mga makabagong teknolohiya para sa produksyon ng tubo o sugarcane. Lubos din akong nagpapasalamat sa ating mga kasamahan na magsasakang nagbahagi ng kanilang mga karanasan sa paggamit ng mga nasabing teknolohiya at produkto na na-develop ng mga proyektong pinondohan at minonitor ng DOST at PIGARD. Maraming salamat at pinaunlakan ninyo kami upang kayo ay maging inspirasyon at magbahagi ng kaalaman sa ating mga tagapanood. Ngayon din naman, nagpapasalamat ako sa lahat ng participants na sumubaybay, nanood at nakinig sa ating mga resource speakers online mula sa Luzon, Visayas at Mindanao. Sa ating mga kasamahan sa media at sa aking mga colleagues sa Picard, lalong-lalo na sa Applied Communication Division, sa Management Information Systems Division, at sa mga staff na kasama ko sa Agricultural Resources Management Research Division, maraming salamat sa inyong suporta. Higit sa lahat, ako ay nagpapasalamat sa overall coordinator ng webinar na ito, sa Picard ISP Manager na Sugarcane, Ms. Ophelia F. Domingo. Ayon sa Sugar Regulatory Administration, ang industriya ng sugarcane sa Pilipinas ay may ambag na higit kumulang 70,000 billion pesos sa ating ekonomiya taon-taon. Kaya naman, ang mga ibinahagi namin sa webinar nito ay talaga namang mahalaga para sa mga magsasakang Pilipino sa bawat consumer na sukal at sa industriya ng tubo. Sa loob lamang ng 2 oras, ibinahagi sa atin ng mga piling eksperto ang mga mahalagang impormasyon at teknolohiya na talaga namang makatutulong para sa produksyon ng tubo sa makabagong panahon. Sa inyong lahat, naway naging sulit ang inyong 2 oras sa aming mga ibinahagi sa hapong ito. Nawa ay marami kayong natutunan na maaari ninyo ring i-apply sa inyong mga sariling sakahan ng tubo. Sa anumang impormasyon na inyong kakailanganin, kami sa Picard, kasama ang aming mga partner agencies, ay palaging bukas para sa inyo. Hindi hadlang ang pandemya at restrictions at transportasyon para kami ay inyong makausap dahil maaari ninyo kaming i-email o padalhan ng mensahe sa aming mga Facebook pages. Kami, sa ngalan ng agham at teknolohiya, ay patuloy na magsisilbi para sa ikaunlad ng ating agrikultura. Muli, magandang hapon po sa lahat at maraming salamat. Nawa mas marami pang magsasakang Pilipino ang tumubo sa tubo.